I got to pee again.
Let's talk a little bit about while you were sleeping. It all started about, 11 hours ago. It looked just like that. Cory Booker, the senator from the state of New Jersey, started a marathon speech, and he made it very clear. He said, I'm going to keep going as long as I'm physically able. And what he's doing, and is doing live right now as he puts on his glasses, is he's talking about the actions taken by Donald Trump over his administration thus far. Not happy about any of it. But keep in mind, he's part of the Democratic leadership in the Senate, and Democrats are under pressure from their base to do more to stand up to Donald Trump.
How does this work?
So he's standing up against Donald Trump, even though Donald Trump is down the street.
Do the senators all have to be there?
Nope.
They have to stay there all night?
No, it's not even blocking any
Is he speaking to anyone?
Nobody.
So he just wants national
Maybe
attention.
he has a few fans.
Well, there are a couple other senators who occasionally ask him questions, and he yields the floor. But by yielding for a question, then he still controls the floor. This is not a filibuster, by the way.
So here's what did you miss last night when you made that dumb decision to sleep?
I rise with the intention of disrupting the normal business of the United States Senate for as long as I am physically able. I rise tonight because I believe sincerely that our country is in crisis. We are not solving the deficit in what they're proposing here. They're cutting and cutting and cutting things that make no sense to cut, and they're doing it for tax breaks which disproportionately go to the wealthiest. Placing tariffs on our biggest trade partners is beyond unfair. This drives the cost of goods up, and the consumer is the one who ends up paying the increase. Even with universities got too woke and had too excesses, the antidote to that isn't to try to shut down the thought of the left. It's to try to make a fair, more competitive marketplace for ideas from all around the political spectrum.
How would you do that?
I mean, there's just several things that he said are just not true. He's still running on the tax cut for the rich. Not true. And most Americans understand that, and they believe that under the past administration.
I really hate Fox and Friends. I really, really hate it. It might be my least favorite program on television. It's just like objecting to observable reality every day of the week. That's all they do. All they do is just up is down, right is wrong. That's all they do. They just sit there and go, everybody knows it. This is wrong. It truly is mind-boggling. There is not a single point that they make that is correct. Not a single one. Why do we even watch it every day? Genuine question. Because Fox is one of the most successful broadcasters. It's the same reason why we watch Asmongold from time to time. Okay? You have to understand what your ideological enemies are saying and thinking in order to claw back your parents and your coworkers from the faucet of misinformation. You have to see what their notes are, where they're getting their notes from. This is why my entire career is overwhelmingly listening to right-wingers. And in that process, as a dedicated watcher of right-wing commentary, I have noticed that in the last couple of years, this has gotten significantly worse. There's not too much you can say or do about a person that is getting their notes. A person that is getting their notes from Fox News is not living in the real world. They are living in a made-up universe.
When Donald Trump had his first term, that they got a tax break. They know that to be true. He also talks about the university campuses. So you're going to side with the people that are blocking the Jews from going to class right now? That's not going to work with the American people. And just over and over the talking points. If you want to get the American people attention.
Like every single thing he said is wrong, okay? He started out by saying, everybody knows that it's just not true that Trump is not looking for taxes to the wealthy. Yes, he is. He is looking for taxes to the wealthy. That is precisely what he did his first term, and that's precisely what he said he's going to do the second term. I don't know why you would even deny this. That is precisely what he said.
Understand it, and they...
Okay. Then he turns around and talks about university campuses, claiming that the students are blocking Jews from going to class. Also, not true. Completely not true. It's not happening. Not real. I was there. And members of this community were there every day. It's not true at all. Okay? They were in a public space in the middle of campus. They were not blocking Jewish students from going to class. It is made up.
With the people that are blocking the Jews from going to class right now, that's not going to work with the American people. And just over and over the talking points. If you want to get the American people attention, you don't do it on the floor of the Senate.
Wait, I'm sorry. And then he follows this up by hitting one of the dumbest points, which is to turn around and be like, you can't protest this way. This filibuster is not allowed. It's like, what are people supposed to do then? Just quietly whisper to one another what their discontent is with the administration? Like, what are we talking about? That's so funny. The Fox guy's saying he has like 50,000 viewers on YouTube, 58K on TikTok, and like 30K on Twitter. Yeah, I think that this right here, even if it's like aesthetic resistance, paired up with Bernie Sanders and AOC getting a lot of attention, a lot of positive attention, should be a reminder to every Democrat that, like, you have to fight back. You have to fight back against the Trump administration.
You go and you start talking with voters. I'm not sure he's going to
town hall, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure this is going to get much attention. I mean, we're probably the only people that are covering this right now. I don't think the American people care what he's saying on the floor.
Lord, here I am. And so I could confess
Be in a world of Schumers, be a Booker. Oh my God.
that I have been imperfect. I confess that I've been inadequate to the moment. I confess that the Democratic Party has made terrible mistakes that have given lane to this demagogue. I confess we all must look in the mirror and say we will do better. And it's not just defining ourselves what we're against. We, the next generation, as the baby boomers are leaving the...
Yeah, they're not even doing like a real filibuster because there's no motion. There's no quorum. There's no motion or bill that they're blocking. It's just they're taking space. That's what it is. Overall, I think I'm leaning on the side of this is not the worst thing. I am not going to yell at Democratic Party senators or any representative, really, for that matter, any congressperson for that matter, that is at the end of the day doing anything. I wish they were doing this in the appropriate moment, which was, 2 weeks ago. That would have been cool.
We have to redeem the dream. We have to excite people again. He, in the highest office of our land, wants to divide us against ourselves, wants to make us afraid, wants to make us fear so much that we're willing to violate people's fundamental rights. We're willing to go after the speech on college campuses. We're willing to go after law firms, go after the freedom of the press. Don't let him do that. Don't become like him. Be an American that says, I look to the future and I'm excited. Yes, things are tough right now.
Oh, God. Ay, 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 ay. It's just like, it's just, I'm thinking about all the Democrats that love this, where they're like, this is so sick. This is, oh my God, it's making me quiver a little bit. Dual chat. Sorry, I turned on the wrong thing. Look, I said the same thing about AOC and Bernie's rallies. It's great that they are getting people excited. It's great that they're getting people excited. It's great that they're, getting people to turn out. But you got to use that people power. You got to take that momentum you have and that energy you have around your causes and your initiatives and move it into developing mechanisms of pushback, mechanisms of pressure, whether that be labor organizing, union organizing, community organizing, or whether that be individual issues that you give voice to.